everybody, it's Luke over at Galaxy Tech Review, and today I've got the GT62VR Dominator Pro 238 with that GTX 1070 graphics card up in the left-hand corner. Of course, you're going to see our MSI Afterburner running with CPU temperature, GPU temperature, frames per second, and system RAM usage. Our settings are as follows: 1080p at 60 Hz, custom on our limit of frames per second. Frame rate cap is all the way to 300. Graphics quality is on Epic, and if we look at advanced, we even bumped up our SMAA to high, so everything is at the highest settings that we could possibly set this at for Epic preset. Again, GPU temperature, frames per second, system temperature, and you're going to have system RAM usage as well. Now, if we compare this to the GTX 1060, the GTX 1070, as you can imagine, will perform better. Let's see how much better it does. If we take a look at our older videos on the GTX 1060, I was averaging about 100 to 110 frames per second in the same settings that I have this set at now. In this game, I average more like 140 frames per second to 150 frames per second, somewhere in that area. So you're going to be looking at a 35 to 40 frames per second boost just by going from the GTX 1060 to the GTX 1070. I'll let you guys check out the actual gameplay here, and as you can see right now, we're right at about 150 to 160 frames, but it does jump down to about 130 frames in certain scenarios, but it averages out to be about 140 frames per second overall. I'll check back with you guys at the end.
Enemy eliminated. Winner. Score 1-0. Prepare for battle. Select your hero. Three, two, one, fight. Score 2-0. Prepare for battle. Select your hero.
We're all soldiers
3, 2, 1, fight. Match point. Teammate eliminated.
Simple geometry.
So there you go. That is the GT62VR Dominator Pro 238 with that GTX 1070. Does an excellent job at hanging in there frame rate wise and even temperature wise. We did creep up with the CPU into the lower to mid 80s, but that's really not that big of a deal, and that's without cooler boost being on. If you turn cooler boost on, you can get it down further into the high 70s constantly, so not a bad deal for thermal management on this particular laptop as well. We were averaging about 140 or so frames per second. So over the GTX 1060, you're going to gain about 35 to 40 frames a second in this particular game on these particular settings, which are maxed out. And these are going to differ on different games, as you guys will see in the upcoming weeks as I do some more videos on the Dominator Pro. This was Luke from Galaxy Tech Review. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. I'll get back to you guys as soon as possible. Remember to like, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe because that always helps me out. And I'll check you guys out on the next video.